assholes. You are now fucking listening to the Two Clouded Mind Show with Chris.
What would it take for Ryan to suck a dick?
And Ryan.
Oh God, you just coughed all over me.
With special guest appearances, unique games, and contests. Give us a goddamn call. 669-241-2420. Or stalk us like your girlfriends do. On Facebook and Instagram at the Two Clouded Mind Show. Let's get fucking clouded. It's the Two Clouded Mind Show.
I've been smoking joints all week, like all week. So on my trip to South Carolina for the move, I tried to keep it light, like 4 pre-rolls, but they were the king size, like big boys. And I would smoke half and then smoke later.
You got to bump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. Like you moved somebody from New Jersey?
Yeah, I was only gone 2 days.
That's my morning.
Yeah.
That's my, that's my 6 a.m. to 10
I brought what I could eat in case I got pulled over.
That's
without vomiting.
Nah.
That is kind of smart.
Yeah.
Sticking it right in my ass.
Nope. I'm not smoking it after it's been in my ass.
Well, if it's in like a bag.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pre-planning.
Then I gotta, Then I gotta re-roll it. Some
you
shit
gotta have
weed.
a bag with you. You gotta remember to put it in there.
You gotta keep them in something.
Yeah.
You didn't just have 4 loose joints just rolling around the car.
A Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you just do a 2-fold and it right at the crack.
Nope, stop talking, go to jail.
They're not gonna say, "Get out the car, boy." No, they're not.
The whole time it was a hot box.
You gotta have the windows down a little bit, the AC on the fucking
So events.
on the what's it called, the windshield one, so it sucks it.
To be fair, you know what I think they should have? They should have those, like, you know, people would hang those things, like the car scented things. They should just sell them that smell like weed.
Yeah.
Right. And you're like, oh, I'm sorry, it's not me. You know, it's this thing. I love the smell of it.
Yeah.
It's like, here, officer, smell it.
Exactly.
Yeah, or you could just buy a couple CBD joints from wherever and keep the tube it comes in.
And then just be
I
like,
did.
sorry,
I already do that.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Doob tubes, but like, you know.
My doctor prescribed me the CBD. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if I got pulled over. I mean, I guess if I was smoking, it's a different story. But if I got pulled over and they found weed in a different state, what the state laws are. Because I have my card, so I don't even know.
That was my question.
I know.
Not that I have it, but like.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
I
wondering.
think it's illegal to transport it
Yeah, over
state
state lines
lines.
because of the federal level.
Dude, I must be really high right now. I'm seeing 2 of one person.
Yeah.
I was wondering when that joke would come up. I was wondering
How
when that
think I
joke
feel? I answered the door.
Seeing
and I was just like,
double.
I just kind of giggled at myself. I was like,
Or-
Remember those
I mean, we're-
supplement commercials from back in the 90s?
yeah.
I mean, we hear it all day long at the distillery. You know, anyone has a sip of alcohol and they're like,
Oh, I'm that drunk
I
already.
must be that drunk
So you're just
already."
laughs
You ever like pull pranks on each other?
Yeah.
Like, you know, see somebody that's giving you a problem, and then you say something slick to them, and they go over to the brother.
Yeah, right.
I would do that.
I mean, we spent our whole lives really like using the twin thing as much as we can. We
little, like, switcheroos and
yeah, we
I mean-
switch classes.
Well, that
like
a lot,
on the small scale.
To be fair, a lot of times the teachers themselves were the ones that were like trying to pull tricks on each other.
Oh,
So they
really?
would send us to be like, hey, you and your brother should switch, and like we'll laugh about it.
That's awesome.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like these elementary school teachers, middle school teachers. They're people too. They want to
Yeah.
have fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And then as soon as we could work, we always shared a bank account, which is kind of, I mean, it still works to this day. Like, we like counterbalance each other. So like we would share a bank account. We would work together at like serving jobs. Like Fridays is where we started off. And
Oh, wait, the one in Hazlitt?
no,
No.
Piscataway.
that's what we're at. Yeah.
Yeah. So we started off at Fridays, and we mostly tried to work together because we drove together and it made it easy. But anytime they scheduled one of us and not the other, what we would do is
We were like, that's not fair.
that's not fair. We're both working towards the same like account, and like it's not fair that one of us gets to work and the other one doesn't. So we would switch halfway through the shift, not even tell anyone involved.
No.
Yeah,
Are you serious?
Yeah.
We'd be like, yeah, you have
Same
that
goals.
table, that table, that table. They need water. I'm out. And then like just leave.
What did you
Oh
do?
my
Like,
God.
a
Genius.
shirt or something? So like.
I mean, luckily
it's
there was
like
always the
uniform, yeah.
uniforms, right?
Okay, yeah.
So like it made it easy. And then at the end of the
Wow.
night, we might be like, hey, did you notice that I switched with my brother? And we'd be like, nope.
Yeah, they don't care. Otherwise, like,
We got joint employee of the month one time
No
because
way.
Right.
they're like, we don't even know. We don't even like.
Ash likes to be on the show sometimes.
Yeah, she tries to steal the show.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, pup.
I don't. blame
I
her.
always said that like on the job, like if I could clone myself and just do like kind of double the work or like half the work really.
Yeah.
Would
Yeah,
be
you
great.
want to do half the work.
Yeah.
You want to do half the
Yeah.
work for sure.
Or I mean like also like it's just fun messing with people. Like we when we were there together, sometimes when we were there by ourselves, like one of us we did that. When we were there together, we would do this whole thing where we find a table that seems kind of cool and we're like they ask us like, "Oh, can you get us like some ketchup or something like that?" Or like they'll ask for something that's super simple.
Yeah.
You like walk away 5 minutes, like come back to them, talk to them. You're like, "Oh crap, I forgot you walked the other way," and the other one shows up from the other side with this stuff.
Oh my god, and you're like, wait a second.
What the
It's like
fuck?
some Scooby-Doo shit. Where
Yeah,
you
no,
go around
exactly.
different doors.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
So-
Pick
so,
the conversation up where it left off.
Yeah, right. Anyway, guys, we want to introduce Max and Alex, our new friends from the 3BR Distillery. They came to hang out with us, and they got funny stories. Look at them; they're fucking twins.
Yeah.
I'm high as shit. This is fun.
Yeah, you are.
I told you when I answered the door, I just
So you were recently on a cruise.
yeah, I still feel like I'm on the boat. My body's doing.
Did you bring a little baggie to smoke on the boat?
I brought my pen, but I didn't put it in my butt.
oh, that was my next
Yeah.
question.
No, I put it in my backpack, and then I had to go through a metal detector in Florida, and it was just in my pocket. It was the only thing in my pocket.
Nice.
Wait, it didn't like get.
Really?
That's,
What would you have said if it did? Because that's pretty risky. Like I
It's
would
ri-
be like, eh.
Well,
you also have a medical.
I have a
card.
card, but like they said earlier, like who knows what the state to state is, and
Were you
I-
prepared to throw it out?
yeah, if I
Okay.
had to, yeah, if it was that or get arrested and have to deal with like,
Or not go on your cruise?
yeah, exactly,
Where was the cruise? To where?
to the
Or-
Bahamas,
Okay. So it left from where?
New York.
Oh,
We were
that's-
parked right next to the Intrepid. That was sick.
wow.
Yeah, that was cool looking.
That's neat.
Yeah.
So, have you ever seen those like videos of like the people that are like told to dump out their alcohol or something like that, and then they just chug it all?
Yeah.
Were you prepared to be like
Yeah, one rip.
One giant
like
rip.
your entire cartridge?
Oh my God,
You probably
I would
cried
die.
that.
I would die. No, but I mean, I don't drink at all, and I ended up drinking like 5 or 6 full bottles of 1800 silver tequila in a 5-day span.
Do you have a hangover in any one of those 5 days?
Not once.
You're an animal.
Not once.
It's
and
because you didn't mix.
and I was drinking from 7 a.m. till about 2 a.m. every day.
It was
I must-
all inclusive.
Yeah, yeah.
What were some of like the best parts of the trips? Did you do any excursions? Or?
I'll tell you all later because it's not about me. It's about our new friends.
I'm just.
I mean,
well,
I'm
just
curious.
speaking of
I got something.
alcohol, speaking of alcohol,
No, I hear you. I mean, but
Good
I,
segue.
yeah. Oh man, does that it makes you build? I built a little. We're doing another episode after this about that,
gotcha.
and then you guys will have to tune in.
About what?
The cruise and
We're
vacation.
doing 2 episodes now.
We were supposed to
You were
anyway.
supposed to.
So
Can't change plans. Change them again.
nope.
Fighting for the belt.
Sure, I got so many pairs of gloves.
Sweet.
That's fine. I have enough gloves for all of us to put a pair on.
Do it.
Amazing.
Like what kind of gloves? You're talking like
Just
What?
regular boxing gloves.
boxing gloves?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, my brother and I were
We
we were
did golden gloves, and I
yeah
had a pro boxing license. All
Oh,
that
that's
stuff.
awesome.
yeah.
At some
Yeah.
point in my life.
I'm not. I'll never call myself a boxer. I train. I train, but I was in a musical chair fight.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
How does that work?
So there was 8 chairs and 10 guys,
Okay.
Music stops. Two guys don't get a chair. They have to fight.
Duke it out.
And
Yeah.
then it goes down until it's the last two.
Oh, that's cool.
And then I was in the human pinata fight, where there was a man dressed up as a pinata.
Just floating there.
No. He was fighting. He had gloves on, but he was being protected by Alan Joban, Eddie Jackson, and Jason Ellis.
Oh
And
my God.
there was 4 of us against them. That was chaos. Yeah, I'm doing it 2 more times this summer and in October.
I mean, it sounds like fun.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
Are you like friends with Jason Ellis or?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Not like, I mean, you can't call him on the phone or anything.
Oh
like
yeah,
that, but
yeah. I that's not what I mean, but like you're like you've like met him, talked to him, like you
Yeah.
see him every so often. That's really cool.
that's cool.
We used to listen to his station a lot.
Yeah. I'm making the hot sauce for his show now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Butt uppercut. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's your production capability here? You're doing it here or?
No, I do it at my friend's restaurant.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's cool. Yeah, we worked with
Shout to Vic.
we worked with the guy who does White House Station hot sauce. I don't know if you know that one.
They won like best New Jersey hot sauce like a couple of years. Like they're very very good. The guy's like
What's the name of it?
White House Station.
White House Station. We're
Yeah.
coming for you. For the belt.
For the belt.
Hot sauce belt. We're gonna get it.
Hot sauce off. Is that a hot sauce taste test?
Yeah. Taste test, poop test. Does it burn after?
No.
Yours does not. His is pretty smooth. You can sip it
Yeah.
from the bottle.
What kind of flavor is it?
I do pineapple habanero. That's called the fruit is lava.
Mhm.
And then butt uppercut is mango habanero.
Mega habanero. Yeah. The White House Station. I think their best one is white peach habanero. Right? That's I don't know. We haven't had it in a while.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously yours is better.
Yeah.
You want to try it?
Until you're on theirs.
No. Listen. They didn't invite us, so
Step your game up. Step your game up. Shit.
But no, thank you so much for having us on. How'd you guys like hear about us? I mean,
It was me.
Maria.
I said, yeah.
yeah.
You guys need to come by too at some point.
I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah.
I
100%.
honestly, when I'm not on vacation, I don't ever drink. I just
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
ever. I just smoke, but I'll definitely come and hang
Well,
out.
there's mocktails.
There are
Oh,
mocktails,
yeah?
yeah.
Don't
Oh,
have
I'm in.
alcohol.
I mean,
Mocktails.
you had me at
I'm
Shirley
all about
Temple.
that.
They're a little bit better than a Shirley Temple.
Yeah.
I mean, it really
We're
doesn't
working all the
take long.
time, and there's always like free booze, completely accessible to anybody. It's like pretty easy to become an alcoholic. But this guy's just like, Shirley Temples and Coke or whatever.
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah, I'm like towards the end of the night, I got 45 minutes left. I'll go for that like coffee or espresso. A little pep in my step.
But I like to be the guy. Look at me. Walk
Yeah.
up to the bar. There's a bunch of people at the bar. The bartender comes up, and I'm like, Shirley Temple. Everyone's like, what? I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
Shirley Temple.
No one's gonna question it coming from a guy like you.
Do you remember your first Shirley Temple? I do.
My first one.
Yeah.
Wow, I was a young lad.
A young
Same.
Young
I
wee
probably had
lad.
my first Shirley Temple around the same time I had my first Slim Jim.
lad.
It was at the Elks Club.
I do not remember my first Slim Jim.
Elks Club.
I think I remember
Yeah.
my.
Oh, not the Elks. Knights of Columbus.
Knights of
Even
Columbus
better.
Makes sense that they would have Slim Jims
Yeah.
and Shirley Temples. for sure.
Yeah, like the vending machine. They had little
Yeah.
billiards
I don't
and
hate
some.
it. Sounds like a
dollar
good
beers.
time to
I
me.
love Slim
We should
Jims.
go.
Yeah, me too. I could eat like a pound of Slim
Yeah,
Jims.
me too.
Test me.
Okay, I'll challenge you to a Slim Jim eat off.
I mean, Slim Jims or like jerky.
Well,
yeah.
jerky all
Jerky's
day.
a
We
little
did
bit-
Yeah,
taste
we
test of
we
jerky.
did a jerky taste test on the show, and that was
Yeah.
pretty good. I got my salt intake for the day.
Nice.
And it was cool because we tried to keep it like more like original based. We did throw one teriyaki in there because why not? Why wouldn't you?
Why not?
You have to.
Dude,
It's delicious.
Some of the best jerky I've had was venison, and you can't
Same.
really find that here.
Just saying
Same.
I make that. Come on.
You do.
You do.
We're talking after this.
Not a fan of venison.
Really?
You did.
You don't know.
This year we're doing the redneck cookout, and we had this idea probably 2 years ago,
Yeah.
where we were gonna
when
fill
first
the
started.
back of my pickup truck with like liners
What's this?
and fill it with water,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of make like a pool in the back of my pickup truck.
Mhm.
And then we were gonna have a grill, and I was gonna cook venison, duck burgers, and like other like wild game. And it was gonna be neat. And we were gonna have mullet wigs.
Oh,
I mean,
mullet
that's-
wigs.
Why a wig? Grow it out now.
Yeah, grow it out.
I'm trying.
You have time.
Come on, Ryan.
These locks.
Oh my gosh, your hair did get long.
It's crazy long.
That's awesome.
Get like Rogaine, but like just for the back of your head.
Oh, I've got that. There's a spot where I was going bald, a time where I was going bald. For sure. I wish I had photos, but like, self-conscious me completely got rid of all the evidence from my future self. I have like a spot like yay big on my head.
What?
Plus multiple. Call me out, dude. There's no proof, but whatever, bro.
Yeah, right.
I'll go to my dermatologist.
I forgot I had buttons.
Yeah. Stress, lack of sunlight, and night jobs, and that whole lifestyle.
What?
Being a vampire.
What's that?
Being a vampire.
Basically.
Describe
I would like leave at 7 and like get home at like 4 in the morning, and I lived on like 7-Eleven and like the bombest Jamaican places.
Do you think vampires are stressed on a regular?
Yeah.
They're looking for their next kill.
You have a
But
certain
that's-
amount of time before the sun comes up and
That's
fuck
easy
you up.
though. I feel like vampires.
It's true.
It-
People are
Not if
real
you have
dumb.
morals and you're not just trying to kill people. Like if you're
I
just
think-
trying to kill people all day,
Did you just give vampires morals?
yeah. There's a strategy. You want to stay alive. You don't want people like what is it, stabbing you with wood? How do you die as a vampire?
The stake to the heart.
Yeah.
Yes. Or sunlight.
Yeah.
Splinters.
Splinters. Oh god. You imagine just walking through a house and you stub a big pinky toe on a piece of furniture, get a
Oh,
little
no.
splinter, and you just.
And
I got one for you.
You can't kill people all from this neighborhood. People are gonna start to realize.
Yeah, I mean,
You'd be a little stressed. You have to space it out.
how about this? If you're a vampire, you can move pretty quickly.
I don't think you have any idea how fast I really am. I'm fast as fuck, boy.
Says what?
Says every says
I was waiting.
every.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah, I was like, is there more?
Yeah.
Well,
What are you?
There's a lot more, but my fucking wheel just went.
What else can you do?
I was just gonna say no, they can't turn. I mean, maybe you could turn. Into
I
a
would
bat,
just
but
get fancy
might be
with
able to
it and
fly.
hire
You
a
can
staff
fly.
to
Better
donate
vampire.
blood
Yeah,
in
yeah.
cycles,
vampire can fly
and then I would
fast.
just be like Bruce Wayne,
There you go. See? She
vampire.
backs it. We can fly if you're vampires.
He
But
goes,
I'd much
"Maybe
rather.
vampires could fly.
I'd much. You know what?
Do you turn into a bat or do you just like Superman it?
I think you
You're turning
Superman
into
it.
a bat.
Oh,
It's a vampire.
I'm Lost Boys. You turn into a fucking.
I mean,
He's just flying. Chris is like, oh shit, with his little bat balls swinging in the wind, like.
Yeah.
No, the balls. The
No,
balls.
he-
the
Chris would
balls
have
don't
Balls stay the
massive,
same.
Yeah,
Balls stay
the
the
balls
same.
stay the same.
just a human sack on a bat,
Oh my god.
That's
just a
insanity.
flying cock at that point.
Yeah. Oh my god. I think I'd much rather be a werewolf. I think that's a more mellow lifestyle.
Yeah, I would do that. I would just walk around my neighborhood and get pets. Yo, pet me. I'll bite you.
I mean,
It's a
I feel
more-
like
it's
a
a-
vampire can blend in. Easier.
Yeah, so I'm
a
human. I'm
werewolf,
human for
like-
3 weeks. Whatever.
Yeah, he's got a 9 to 5 at the local zoo.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good for a few weeks of the month.
Yeah, but it looks so painful when you transform.
Nah, I think it looks pretty cool. It
Chris
looks
had 2
mellow.
back surgeries. He could handle a
Yeah, I'm
werewolf.
good.
Yeah, you're right.
That's mellow.
You are a werewolf, aren't you? I don't even know.
Maybe.
Yeah. I'll find out on the next episode.
Yeah. Why do you think I stay home all the time?
Yeah, all right. It's all making sense now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
tell
yeah.
us your story.
See, you know what?
you
See
guys
what
got
happened? I told you before. I'm
started.
like squirrel.
Squirrel. Yep.
Yeah, we go off the rails real quick.
I'm like, what? Like, are we gonna?
This is fun.
This
I
is
like
funny. I was
this.
like, we don't
We're
need to talk
No,
about
it
it.
goes everywhere.
Sometimes we just hang out, and it's a good vibe.
Yeah, it's great. No, you guys are cool. I'm curious to hear about you guys too.
like your stories.
Yeah, but if you guys
I
want,
guess we'll start. We'll
yeah.
start with us.
So we are the owners of 3BR Distillery. We are a really interesting 80s Soviet themed distillery.
Okay.
Right in Keyport, New Jersey. So right now is a really interesting time period for us with everything
Yeah, I wanted to ask,
happening.
I
What was like the
Let's-
decision
let's-
for like the distillery? Like, what was the deciding factor? Did you both just like go to bed one night and have a dream and be like, "Dude, I had this crazy dream," and then you realize you had the same dream?
Yeah. So okay. So we'll take a long step back and we'll talk about ginger beer.
No, okay. We're not gonna go that far back. But
We can start.
I really
for a
like
second.
ginger
we
beer.
start
I
for
love
a
ginger
second
beer.
at ginger beer. So
I love ginger beer.
we love ginger beer. This was 8 years ago. This is before the heyday of ginger beer. You had to like special order it online. You couldn't find it, and we had bought like everything you could on Amazon at this point, and we were like, you know what? We're freshly 21. I wonder if we can make our own alcoholic ginger beer, right? Like alcohol is on our mind.
Mm-hmm.
So we found like a WikiHow article, like how to make ginger beer.
it's the most bullshit article I've ever seen.
Bullshit article. First of all, we didn't buy everything it said because we're like, we could probably substitute this. You could substitute this. Everything wrong. We did everything wrong, and it was.
Who's to blame?
I'll blame Alex. But no.
Yeah, it just did not turn out well, and to the point where we were like, we're not gonna drink this. This might actually be poison. And then at some point, like we were working in we were working in really like high end restaurant.
Well,
High-end,
restaurant.
it's
It's
high-end
what we
chain
considered as high end at that point, which was like McCormick and Schmick's, which I don't know if you guys know.
I do
It's
not.
it's like a middle tier steak and seafood place that
Nice.
That's North Jersey?
they have them all around the country. But the one that we worked at was Bridgewater.
Okay.
I mean,
And-
it's not like a cheap. It's like 50
Yeah.
plus dollar steak, so it's like
Oh,
more
yeah.
and more expensive than like the average restaurant.
Yeah.
But then like at that point, we were like, oh my god, this
This
is
is like the epitome of fancy.
Yeah.
And then we would
we worked in a couple other places after that we were like, that's not that fancy.
yeah.
But yeah, so we were working there. And I saw some ginger liqueur like on the shelf, and I was like, oh, yeah, we can distill some of our ginger beer crap that we made, and we
could salvage it, right? Instead of being like, oh, it's like sunk cost. We wasted this like $40-50 making this crap. Let's
instead
pour it down the drain. Let's spend another $100 and buy a little distilling apparatus and see if we can make something out of it. We bought it. Absolutely did not know what we were doing, and we also made a really crappy product when we distilled it. And that all shows. Like we're very meticulous people, just in general. We've had a lot of success in life and like different things because we get very
obsessive
about things. Like we've played in Carnegie Hall on the piano. We've
Nice.
we had pro boxing license. I was nationally ranked in tennis at some point. Like we pick different things. Like Alex is really good at hockey. His team won. I don't remember.
Do you ever
states,
like
I
do the
think.
switch off in like a hockey game?
No.
Just like one time, like you just
no.
play really well, and then
And
all
then
of a
just
sudden
really
you're like
bad.
a giraffe.
And,
Like,
and then I just like come out tripping
Or, like,
because I
during
don't.
the piano.
yeah.
Well, actually, at Carnegie Hall we played a duet, so it was the two of us playing. Yeah. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's like so long ago. Like it was one of those things. Like we love the piano, and like I want to get back into it, but like when we were younger,
And,
everyone
like things get like
experiences this. Like
when you get like overwhelmed, like you get burnt out on something like,
Yeah.
to a point where for a while we were just like we didn't even want to touch the piano. And at this point I do want to touch it and I don't have the time. So, I would love to put a little piano in the
the
distill.
space, yeah.
Yeah. And then we'll like that would be great.
Book piano acts.
oh yeah,
I
Yeah.
do love that you guys have live music.
Yeah.
yeah, and it's like all over the place, like a bunch of different stuff. But
Yeah.
And where are you located?
Keyport,
Keyport,
New
so
Jersey.
not too far.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to come check it out sometime.
Yeah. So to kind of get back to it, so that was our introduction to distilling, and like after that first failure, we
First
eventually
two failures.
first few failures, we got back into it and we started doing it a lot more, and like years into it, we found out like as we were distilling in the basement, like probably all night because we had like a big production that we had to do.
Yeah, so not because we were selling it or anything. Don't make it sound like
Yeah,
we're-
no, that sounds
Moonshine.
That sounded really shady.
as
A couple of moonshine.
No. So we would always be making it for ourselves, and it's one of those things that's like, you know, questionable legality, really, because they don't care as long as you're not selling it, and that you're not advertising that you're doing it. You know, that's really the only thing. There's some states where they'll like come after you really hard, but like it's not really the case here. There's like a bunch of like cops that distill and everything. Like it's like it's not really that.
And
serious.
there's like distilling forums and YouTube channels where people are doing it. Like it's pretty like it's pretty legal for something that's illegal.
Yeah.
So so we were distilling because our when we were working at like the super fancy country club, like the place that brings out like the free like intermezzo like ice cream between courses,
wow.
you
Like
know,
that kind of place.
like we were working at that kind of place, and the bartender there was one of the best in the state. He actually won like the Iron Shaker, which is like the competition that's like proves that you're the best bartender in the state. And
Flair. Was he a Flair guy?
It's more
he did that too, but that was unrelated. This is more so like
cocktail
like
flavors
coming up with
and
cocktails.
Oh,
and
very
everything,
nice.
Like,
so we were at this place. We told him that we were making brandy, unaged brandy. He's like, "Oh, bring some in." We brought some in. He loved the taste of it. He was like, "Oh, if you
so did the owner of
and
the
yeah,
country.
and the owner of the country club too." And they were like, the bartender was like, "Hey, if you bring in enough of it, if you bring in like 5 gallons, I don't remember how many.
I think
it's
it was
like,
a 2.5 gallon barrel or something.
yeah, they were like, if you bring in 2.5 gallons, we'll stick in the barrel and we'll let it age, and then we'll serve it at the bar, like just to like the few people that want to try it, right?" And we did, but this 2.5 gallon production
It
run
sounds really really small, but like it's like so like it's such diminishing volumes of everything. So like just like a basic rule of thumb, like whenever I'm doing like the calculations for like something, it's like you essentially have like you get like a tenth of your starting volume. So
like,
for us
wow.
to get 2.5 gallons, that's like
20 gallons of
starting material
of wine that we turn into this brandy, right? And like all of the production that takes, right?
And what's the process of that? Like how long?
It
Or does it
hours
depend?
and hours, depending on the size of your equipment, the amount of heat that you're putting through it. At this point, we were still so small scale, like I mean, we stayed at hobby size the whole time, but like we got bigger and bigger and bigger as we went. At this point, we were still on like I think at this point like a 5 gallon still.
Yeah,
And-
so we had to essentially, so in the process of distillation, you typically distill twice. Like you do 2 distillations, and that's for efficiency. So if we're starting with 25 gallons, we essentially need to run that 4 times, and then we would take what we got from all of that and then redistill it a second time.
So
it
that was a lot
of
of run, and we had to keep doing this, and so usually we kept our distilling like pretty like
Quiet.
during the day, quiet. But this time we wanted to get it done, so we were doing it through the night. Our mom comes home, sees us doing this, and she's like, instead of being like, "Stop it, guys, that's dangerous," she goes, "Oh, your grandfather used to do this," and she starts telling us about like, "Oh, your grandfather distilled during the Soviet Prohibition." She tells us about the Soviet Prohibition, tells us, he actually made alcohol out of peas, and we're like, what the hell?
Yeah, so
It's like a family interest.
apparently, yeah,
right?
Yeah,
it
that's awesome.
runs in the blood, right?
Yeah. So we got his recipe with the peas. So at this point, we finished making this brandy, gave it to him, sat in a barrel. It was actually ended up turning out really well, like so well that, so good that he ended up giving, like that bartender, he let a lot of people try it, including like this fancy cognac guy who's like, "My family's been making cognac for 600 years," and
we were like, "Please don't give it to that guy. He's gonna shit on us." Like,
Yeah.
And the guy was like, "Oh, actually, this isn't bad." And that was like the first like little micro thought. We were like, "Oh, maybe we can do this at some point."
Yeah, and then we got our grandfather's recipe out of peas, and we started making his stuff, and people loved it, and we were like, okay, cool. maybe in our 50s or 60s, we'll
like when we retire, have
like
money.
we'll continue to work on recipes and like building up connections, and when we don't have a ton of student debt, maybe we'll come back to it, right? But we ended up kind of rolling with a lot of punches that led us to opening a lot earlier.
Yeah, I had like a really bad injury right when I was graduating my master's. And my master's wasn't in chemistry or anything. I'm the distiller, but like my background's not in that. I'm just like we said, we're very meticulous people. So our whole like 8 years that we were doing this, like I was constantly like reading books like on forums and everything. So like I knew like a lot more than like a lot of the people in the industry, just purely on the fact that I had time and just interest.
Yeah.
And so
It helps when you're interested.
yeah. And so I had a bad injury, just like pretty much everything that could go wrong. Like it was a hockey injury, and then just like essentially 2 years in and out of hospitals with like an infection. I had a PICC line twice. Like it was like awful. But those 2 years, I mean,
so I took the first job I had out of school too. I just finished my master's in finance, and I was planning to go like the Wall Street route and be one of those bros over there, and but like the bros that have money. So that was the goal, like build up the money and work on the dreams later. So and Alex just finished his master's in forensic psychology as this happened.
That's awesome.
So it was a super cool topic, and he had a TA lined up, like he was going to TA that summer.
I was going to do my PhD. I couldn't do any of that.
Because of the injury. So I took the first job I had out of college, like that got presented me after college, because I just went to like a random job fair, and like someone's like, "Hey, it's like you want a job? Have a job, right?" And I was like super overqualified for it.
Yeah.
Like everyone that was there was like straight out of college. I had just finished like 2 master's degrees and like
in finance and international.
Yeah, and I was like I'm like not just like super overqualified, but like
It was probably a little boring.
it was really boring. So so I wasn't happy, he wasn't happy, and so instead of feeling sorry for ourselves and like being like, oh, it sucks, it happens to people, we've always been in the mindset of, here's a problem, like what's the solution, or like work on something, like try to,
what can we improve?
Yeah. So we started just working on the business plan for the thing, because we were like, you know, it might not go to anything, but it's a way of like keeping our brains busy and seeing maybe it'll go somewhere. So.
And you know, a couple of like we recruited 3 of our friends from high school slash college, and we decided to like go ahead with this, and things just lined up, and you know, Keyport was awesome, and they actually found the spot for us. Like that was one of the other big problems. Like we're young guys, like you know, a lot of people don't take.
Everyone we took we talked to about this, no one took us seriously. They were like, "Oh,
like,
cool guys.
What other businesses have you done?"
Like, we're like, "Nope, this is our first one."
Yeah, exactly. And like we weren't like independently wealthy, so like we weren't bringing in like, you know, our bagfuls of money and being like, this is my qualification, you know.
Yeah, no.
So it was literally just a pitch, and that's it, right?
And I mean, it was years of like.
Of a business plan,
financials. Like I took all of the knowledge I had from business school and like poured it into this type of thing. And I mean,
that's good to have if you're gonna own a business too. I really need to get into that. I would like to know more about like numbers and like finances and just different workflows. Really, you know, you need to know softwares and all these programs. There's a lot of things that people don't really like think about.
No, yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, between me, we then recruited 3 of our friends. So he was the head distiller. I'm the finance guy. Together we're the co-CEOs, but like, you know, like we have our specializations, and then we have.
But you need other people.
You need other people. Like, so we recruited our friend who was actually marketing. So she's our head of marketing. She was head of marketing for the largest porn company in the United States. Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, that's Yulia.
Yeah.
And so actually it's really the funny part about this company. So I worked there for a short second while finishing up my master's because
she got like him the job as the
you
office
just lit
assistant.
Chris up.
Office assistant.
I'm like,
Yeah, so no, here's the funny part. Do you guys So the
Watch
original
porn, yes.
No. the original location for this company, because just like, you know, transparency, this company wasn't like filming porn, right? There's really no money in that.
They're the shell company that has all of the back end infrastructure for camming. Like before OnlyFans was really a thing, you needed all of those,
and so they would help like set up like sites and everything like that. That's like
and they owned a few sites and stuff like that, but like they really weren't.
They just
part
had like
of
a
that.
really large server room and like the capabilities to do
yes,
that.
and most of the stuff was actually outsourced to like other countries, so they had a really small team here, and so like I was just helping out as like an office assistant, and like Yulia's do marketing. But the funny part is originally they were in Marlboro, and then they moved to Bellworks, and they're currently in Bellworks.
They're in Bellworks?
And no one knows what they do.
No.
And
Wow.
Bellworks is
That's
so
funny.
heavily
It's so, like,
curated.
yeah.
Everyone in there, it needs to be a certain type of business,
I
you know? And they got in and they're just like, oh yeah, we're back end financing, financial company. And so they're in Bellworks. I think to this day, as far as I know,
That's hysterical.
it's hysterical. And this is like right when Bellworks was really just started. So like I think now they would have maybe put in more like research into who they were.
It's not like hometown moms and stuff.
Oh yeah. So it's like that's my little funny
really
fact
funny.
is like somewhere, and I'm not gonna say what the name of this company is and where in Bellworks they are, but somewhere in Bellworks there's a porn company.
Very interesting, because I have a few friends that work in that building, and now I'm like, I don't exactly know what they do.
It's like all black ops.
Yeah.
Like half the like from floor 1 to floor 12 is like all brick probably. Super CIA.
But
That's wild.
yeah, but what were we saying? So I mean, so she's our marketing person, and she's amazing. Like she does all of our social media. She actually helped us design the. She was the one that like literally drew out how that place looked like. We have like.
It is so cool. Like I feel like
Thank you.
not in Keyport.
No,
I'm in
no.
Brooklyn or something.
That's what we
like-
hear. That's kind of what we were
Yeah.
going for. We're going for that cool
Yeah, it's got a good vibe.
hipstery, like,
Yeah.
like there's graffiti all over the place.
it's-
like
And
you
it's,
guys
like,
haven't seen the
moody
place,
and,
yeah.
like,
Yeah, I want to check it out. I'm hipster. You see how high my pants are? There?
Yeah, I
It's
saw that.
definitely
Those
hipster.
That was the
capris,
first thing I noticed. The
capris.
first thing I noticed, I was like, hipster.
Yeah, man.
I just pulled my
I'll
socks
I'll
up.
get
I'm the
wool hat.
opposite, like
Yeah.
literally.
I
I'll
mean,
just get the
together you
low
guys
wool
make a
hat.
full,
Yeah,
full
full
pant
pant
leg.
leg.
Yeah, I mean,
We are Gemini.
yeah, exactly.
We're essentially twins.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you're a star nerd, I'm not. Yeah, no.
Well, the place is really, really cool. I hope you guys will come and check it out. But so she did that. She does all of our marketing. She's like amazing, and like we wouldn't have been anywhere without her. And then like every single one of our team members is like
Like that, right? For their own thing. Like we have our operations guy. He is our efficiency engineer. Like that's literally his job at his other job. He goes through with like a clipboard, figures out like what processes.
timer and clipboard literally measures processes and makes them faster, eliminates
More
waste
efficient,
and everything
yeah.
like that.
That's awesome.
And
You
it's-
need that though.
Yeah, and like so like there are bartenders and bars that like come and see the way we do things at our
Like
place.
how you
like
operate.
take
yeah.
notes.
and they're like, holy crap, like, oh, like that's cool.
You should offer services to like go into other people's establishments.
Eventually we will. We need. I mean, we kind of need a bit of years of of a track record.
Don't give
to be
away all
like-
your secrets yet.
You guys should have a TV show.
I'll film it.
No, really.
Yes.
Seriously.
Yeah.
John Taffer jumps out of nowhere.
Like,
Yeah.
private?
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, you got your production team right here. We're good.
Sorry, what was that?
Do you offer private tours to the facility to
We
people?
we do.
So maybe not necessarily private tour. Like we do tours on Sundays where I'll show like the whole production process. I talk about exactly everything we do. But a lot of that stuff is still being optimized and everything, and that's like his like role. He literally is like nothing's ever done. Like we're constantly like it's crazy. Like
We spend a lot of money for it, but it's worth it.
yeah.
Like it's 100% worth it. Like
Yeah, and
there's
he
there's
also
always
figures-
costs of like let's try to do this. It doesn't work out. It's kind of
Yeah, wasted labor.
It's wasted labor and materials, but like we tried.
You
and
learned.
You learned and you figure it out, right? But like eventually we'll get to that point where
Well, it's better than continuing to do those things without thinking about like how could we make this better.
No, exactly.
If you don't try, you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Well, and then our last team member, he's actually a PhD plant geneticist. So
You guys are like superheroes.
Yeah.
running this
yeah, I really
distillery
feel
that are, like,
stupid and lazy. Like I really do. I feel dumb and
He's got
lazy.
sunburnt shoulders. He did nothing for a whole week.
Yeah. Oh my god.
No.
It's
So
impressive.
So
seriously.
he that's Rob. He's actually our head mixologist.
Russia had 2 prohibitions. I'm just gonna mention that because before I say there was a prohibition in Russia in the 80s, right? Like most people are like, oh, they had one that late. There was actually 2. The first one was the world's first prohibition. It was in the 1910s. Everyone else actually copied them after that.
Okay.
Which I don't know why, because that prohibition led to the revolution, and
Yeah.
a lot of historians cite it as the major reason why the revolution even happened.
I mean, you have like feudal, essentially a feudal like a tsar, and then like peasants, right? And then you take away alcohol, like it's
one
the
thing
one
that
thing
makes
making
one
them
thing.
happy. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
So yeah, that was the first one.
That was a bad decision. And the second one was in the 80s. Gorbachev realized there was a huge drinking problem, and he's like, okay, well, we're in an interesting position where we control all the production of everything, and we see when things are made, we see everything because the government is the one that did everything. So they were like, okay, well, let's learn from our last mistake. Don't do a full prohibition where we take away everyone's alcohol. Do a rationing, like a soft prohibition, where they were like, let's make only this amount of vodka and then ration it out. Give every man, woman, and child essentially tokens.
Yeah.
Tokens in order to get your vodka. Have more kids, drink more vodka, like essentially. That's what it came down to. But they would, so that's kind of how it started.
People started moonshining. I mean, there's no way like if people were used to drinking a certain amount, they weren't gonna start doing it.
Yeah, they weren't
Well,
gonna
medical
easily
reasons
roll
too.
over,
You
right?
get shakes and like.
Yeah. No, it's and
Exactly.
that was actually part of my background too. This is slightly unrelated. So with the forensic psychology background too, I eventually like while we were opening this place, I needed money too. So I used that background, and one of the things I specifically wanted to work with was addiction. So I worked at Princeton House actually for like over a year in the admission department, doing like intake and everything, doing assessments and everything for alcohol and substance.
So you guys have like a wide knowledge on the whole thing.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, and that's one of the things that from the beginning we were like, we're making alcohol. That's like, putting like evil into the world. Like
And
in
there's
some
so-
way.
it's like
and
being
there's
the
so much
camera
of
guy
our-
in a porno.
Yeah.
Depending
if
on
the
the
porno
movie.
like was
Yeah.
like if the porno was like The Ring and it killed you afterwards, then
Yeah.
it'd be similar to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I mean we want to stay not clean of the situation because
At
like
least-
we're not providing this evil. Like what we see it as is the positive of the social aspect, the small time drinking, not the
Consume responsibly.
yeah.
exactly. And so like one of the big things I mean I wanted to know like resources. I wanted to know anything like because it's so easy, like if you're there every day, it's easy to notice like people coming in getting like and that's too like you don't want people to get like shit faced at your place like in general,
it's not
but
that
like
kind of place, though.
No,
Yeah.
no, exactly.
But-
Luckily, that's how we kind of set up the place too. Like,
See, those are
I
the
don't think
kind
You
of
guys give
places-
out tokens to people that come in.
that'd actually be pretty funny. Yeah.
Those,
Yeah.
those are the kind of places I'd rather hang out where people aren't getting retarded.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's just
no, that was our goal. Our goal is very like loungy, like more.
Yeah, there's no like our even like our bar itself, like most bars have like people standing, like it's not really even that kind of place. It's everyone's sitting, like
kind of like
Mhm.
speakeasy
They
style.
have, like,
Yeah.
small living rooms almost. set up and stuff like
Yeah, like in
rugs.
the, in the
Oh,
back
okay.
And you
area.
guys have live music?
Yeah.
What type of
Friday,
acts?
Saturday.
Are they usually like trios or like a jazz theme or like something that you guys do?
So every Thursday
yeah.
we have like world famous Russian musicians that are actually really cool. They have
They play this one instrument called the balalaika. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
No.
It's a 3-string like triangle shaped guitar.
Dope.
And 2 of the strings are exactly the same too. So you think it's limited, but like the woman, she's
she's the
literally
leading expert in the
she's
world on this
listed on
instrument.
Wikipedia as one of the experts on. Like there's 3 people listed as notable players, and she's one of them.
Wow.
And they live in like the neighboring town, and they travel the world and like perform everywhere. But they
apparently they do nothing on Thursdays, and they're like, "We'll play for like pennies with you guys."
Yeah, just
and
because
just for drinks and like tips or whatever.
Oh, that's
like
so much fun.
That's awesome.
it's great.
Shout out to those guys.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
they're awesome.
Now, I gotta ask you, and you could just tell me to go
Yeah.
screw.
yeah.
Have you been affected at all by what's going on and all the nonsense and what's stuff?
So that was one of the things. So the first day that like really all started happening was a Thursday, like because it was like
the
the Wednesday
24th,
night,
I
and then
think.
it was Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And so
The
like,
day before birthday.
Oh
Oh,
no.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, just like to clear everything up, like we have family from both sides. Like grandma grew up in Ukraine, like
In
and
Kharkov.
our aunt, like in the like Ukraine. Kharkov is like the second largest like city in Ukraine, and it's like leveled right now. Like so, it's
Wow.
like
It'd be like LA being leveled to the ground.
yeah. So it's like it's crazy, and then like that's our mom's side of the family. Our dad's side's from like Russia, Moscow. We were born in Moscow.
Okay.
So like a lot of times we've identified more as like Russian, but like right now like there's really like no good of like the Russian like of the Russian invasion, and like we were like from the beginning, like we put out statements.
We're just
like
horrified.
we were
by
horrified.
everything,
We are
yeah.
not for this. We want peace and all of that. And that was a big part of like we from the beginning we made it very, very clear that we don't side with it.
And people have been supportive. Like that Thursday when
Yeah,
it happened was our busiest Thursday ever because everyone came out
awesome.
in support. They were making sure we were okay, which I'm so grateful for. Like, and,
That's awesome.
And like that, I'd like to think that some of it probably came from all of the horrific stuff that happened during when COVID-19 like first happened with the Asian Americans.
Yeah.
You know, and like the huge backlash over that. I'm sure people have
It's still going on.
hopefully
now.
come to you know their senses about it. Like
we're not
separation. We're not tied. Our family fled from Russia
as refugees.
You know.
Yeah, like so like we came over like completely untied to Russia.
Yeah.
I mean, so to tie us with it is like not right.
It's unfair
It's
in a way.
It's unfair. I mean, right now people are trying to find little ways that they can like try to like show their support for Ukraine. So it's understandable some people would be looking for some way to do it, and they're like targeting like Russian like,
Yeah, I mean-
vodka and other
Yeah,
stuff.
I don't know if you guys saw
heard about
people's pilling us like
yeah.
like pouring out vodkas and stuff like that, and
The
like
majority of it was made in the States.
Yeah,
either the
exactly.
States or in like Latvia, which is like also not Russia. So like who are they like really like
hurting. Yeah.
hurting? So
Just because you're Russian.
Just uneducated people
Yeah.
Well,
that
that's the
don't
thing,
have.
it's
Yeah.
just nobody, they're not.
We have so
educated.
much like we have a lot of family more so in Russia than Ukraine, and obviously everyone has that crazy uncle that's just like, "Rrr," and you're like, calm down, settle down. But like almost like 99% of them are just like horrified. They want to go out on the streets and protest, and that's horrible. I don't know if you heard anything about that. Like, the people that are protesting in Russia, right now are getting like beaten almost to death and like put in prison. There's like at least like 3,000 people a day that are being like
Just by
put
their
in
own
jail. Yeah.
government.
You're in contact with your family.
Yeah, everyone is okay for now. Everyone's being kind of smart about it. A lot of them do want to go out and protest, but they're also
But at the same time, like then you look at like Ukraine too. Like my grandma's been trying to reach like her family, her friends over there, and she hasn't been able to because like she's like from Kharkov, which is like that city essentially is just like gone right now. Like
There's a lot of unknowing going on.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, it really is a tricky situation, and I mean, the last thing we want to is just like, we're a new business. You know, we also don't want to like essentially get canceled over something that we have no part of at all.
Of course.
Right.
And I mean, luckily everyone's been good, and we've been looking at the situation more of like, yes, we're helpless. Like that's happening over there. We can do nothing about it.
Same as my leg, but like, what can we do?
What can we do? So this past Saturday, we raised money.
We took
10% of what we originally announced as 10% of net profit that we were going to donate. But
we ended up like,
but everyone just came out and supported so much that we were like, forget it. We're going to give 10% of sales and more. And we ended up raising like $1,000 to Razom to
That's amazing.
to donate there.
yeah.
So
and then we're still like, honestly, this is like an open thing for anyone. We're looking to collect certain items too, because we're sending them over. We're working with a couple organizations that are like sending like warm clothes and like medical supplies and everything.
blankets, all that stuff.
For,
like,
over for
so
like
if you guys know
civilians.
anyone, we're
Yeah.
we're
Put
collecting
the word.
over there. Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Definitely. We're all about that. For
Yeah.
sure.
We also, at the end of the show, will get all that information and put it in the description. This way, as people
it'll be
watch
there.
and read, they'll, hopefully support.
Yeah, and I didn't
You
mean
heard
to
it,
put you
guys,
on the
support.
spot. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Oh,
or
no,
make
no,
you
no.
uncomfortable, like,
No, we know we were doing a news article for NewJersey.com
Okay.
Completely unrelated.
like a
to
month
this.
ago,
New
right? Like,
Jersey has its own website. I didn't know.
so
I'm
we
going on it.
we were doing this article about like our history, all that stuff, and he was taking forever to write it. I mean, being
Not
very
forever, yeah,
diligent,
he was very
diligent. So it was like obviously I'm very grateful for it.
Like honestly, like it's really funny when you see like someone who like is like a really serious about photography, because they'll literally be doing those like poses where they're like standing on a
Legs
chair and
something,
like
Camera yoga.
through their legs
Yeah.
behind, like just like
Yeah.
It's like sexual.
yeah. No, and it's like no, he was like literally like took a million photos, like interviewed like all like a bunch of people, and like
bunch
he
of
made
guests, yeah.
he made an amazing like article, and then all of this happened, and we were like at the same time we were like,
oh no.
yeah, like is it fair
it.
to do this? So we had him actually make a huge amendment in it before it published about Ukraine, a statement, and then also added the part about the
donations and all that stuff. So
so actually a lot of people coming in
or
on
like
Saturday.
I read the article.
Yeah, and so it was pretty
And-
massive.
And between that and all of a sudden everyone just came out of the woodworks trying to get opinions. I mean, I understand it. Like we're a local Monmouth or New Jersey business
Yeah.
that has a Soviet flag on their walls. I mean, first of all, the Soviet flag. I do want to say something about that for a second. So the Soviet flag was actually from the 80s that we put up like in our place. We have a big Soviet flag.
Okay.
From the 80s, it was
Off of a ship.
it was
and-
given to us. It was a gift from a guy who helped move all of our equipment.
Like an American guy here who traded his John Deere hat for the flag off the ship. So like
So there's history
Yes.
to this flag.
yeah. So literally like the ship captain was like, "Oh, I like your John Deere hat. Oh, how much for the hat?" And he's like, "Not for sale." And he's like, "What can I give you for the hat?" And he like points at the flag on the ship, and
And this transaction happened.
Wow.
And this guy had this flag in his closet for 30 years. And like as he's moving his all of our equipment in,
like
helping his son
big
do
ass
it.
like like 10,000-pound like equipment into our place. He's like, "You know what? This is really cool."
Like your whole concept, like I have something that's perfect for you. He just comes by and drops off this flag, and like
That was its purpose.
and that was its purpose, and it's amazing, and like
I want to interview that flag.
yeah, right?
The flag itself.
and so
I want to take selfies with it.
Yeah.
yeah, and so it's like it's like also so American, like a John Deere hat, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
you literally took a flag off of a ship with a John Deere hat, like
So-
Wow.
and so we've had this flag hanging from like the very beginning.
And like we get like flack from some people that come in and they're like, "Where's your American flag?" And it's so many, not so many. I have to say, there's a lot more people that don't say anything, but you
then
never
when-
know what they're thinking.
And then when we tell this too, they also are just like, it's a theme, like
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you don't go into a Mexican restaurant and be like, "Where's the American flag?"
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, anyway, it doesn't matter.
I wouldn't
Like,
go
we-
to that restaurant.
Are they rude about it when they ask you, "Hey, Quay, where's the American flag?" Are they rude about it, or
So some of them are like, I've had people where they were just like communists and they just like threw shit.
You should have a guy on
Why
staff
are
for
they
that.
in there?
I don't know, but
I
like,
mean-
Like
If
somebody
you need-
mentions the flag and be like, "Yo, Frank, get over here." Like, deal with it.
if you need a security guard? I mean,
Yeah.
I'll definitely
Yeah,
just
Chris
hang
does
out.
that.
I mean, why not?
But-
Pick somebody for you.
He won't
But no,
drink any
no,
of
I
your
mean,
product.
I
No, I
have to
won't.
I have to say, people have been really generally positive about it. Usually, people are like, "I love this place so much," but like, where's your American flag? And at that point, we try to tell them, we're like, like I understand I understand where you're coming from if you're like, especially an older American person who went through the Cold War and
or a
like
veteran, yeah, and like fought in like either Vietnam or Korea, and there's like very strong feelings, but like at the same time, like
it's
not an
something that
existing country.
doesn't exist.
Yeah, and this is really just like a relic of a former time, and that's kind of like our thing. So like at the same time as being kind of a like we're really like an 80s Soviet place, at the same time it's also a huge like testament, like not testament, but like it's a shrine to my grandfather who's like no longer alive. He was making this product out of peas. We're now the only distillery in the world making products from
That's what I
peas.
was going to ask you.
Yeah.
There's nobody else. There's
No
no
one in the
other
world.
alcohol made from
And
peas.
you
So,
guys don't just
100%
make vodka,
percent
you make,
made
We
from
make
peas.
a lot of different
Yeah.
things, yeah. Like you were talking
Ground
1800s
floor,
before.
We're friends with them, so
Yeah.
So that's like what we were talking with like Russia, Ukraine, like that's kind of where we stand. Like we are trying to do the best we can
Yeah.
to help people because we're also like we're a voice for the region too. Like a lot of people are definitely for a reason they're kind of stuck in like almost like a deer in headlights, like how do I help, how do and we're constantly putting out like resources and other like stuff like for people to donate, to give us stuff for us to donate. That's really the best we can do. And I mean, if as we figure like as all this progresses, I'm sure like there'll be other things that we can do, but we're all kind of going through this together.
that's fascinating.
Yeah.
That's really fascinating. The only ones in the world making it out of peas.
Yeah, it's
Is there
Oh,
any
well,
other
so-
vegetable? Is there any other vegetables? I mean,
so
I guess I don't
You.
know
Yeah,
anything
so
about
You.
alcohol.
I was actually gonna go
feel
back
like
to
that.
your actual story, your actual question about
Oh,
why
yeah.
peas, right?
Yeah.
So the reason why my grandfather decided on peas, first of all, my grandfather, I want to write a book about this guy one day, because he was by far one of the coolest people that I've ever heard of. And like everyone thinks their grandfather or like their family's the coolest person. My grandfather, he our grandfather, so he didn't even graduate from middle school. Like it was right after the war, like everyone's gone straight into the workforce. But he was legitimately a genius. Like he was just at 13 he was building pocket-sized radios, and he would give them to people. Just he figured out how to do it. It was illegal to have mobile radios at that point. He was figuring it out, giving it out to people. And then a bunch of other stuff, built houses, furniture, like just jack of all trades. At like,
with, like
Your
no-
grandfather
with-
was the plug.
Yeah. Well, so he had no like formal education too,
Yeah,
and so at some point like he was married to our grandma at the time. She was working in like an elevator engineering company.
Wow.
So he actually like saw in a spy magazine somewhere that someone like they had like you know, like they have like the X-ray goggles, you know, like random stupid shit that they have like in those like spy magazines.
like stuff
Yeah, I
that doesn't
love that.
actually work and no
Yeah.
one thinks it works, but kids do.
So he saw like a blueprint for like a phone tap, and he's like, huh. And he like tried to build it the way that they said. It didn't work, obviously. And so he like figured out how to make it work. And so he had a phone tap. And so he started just like messing around with it and being like, oh, the only place, because this was like 60s at this point. I don't know.
60s, I
like,
think.
I don't know. In the Soviet Union, really no one had like phones like the way that people had here. So the only
Your
people.
grandfather started the KGB, didn't he?
Well,
You're watching too much Archer.
So he's like, oh, you know where they have phones? My wife's office building. So he like came in there
Started tapping the line, seeing if it works, and he ended up getting in trouble with them.
because like the people that were using the phones most were the spies. Like every single building had
Oh,
like
wow.
so the person that like communicated with the government being like, oh, this person is like a dissident, you know, that stuff. And so he got in trouble. Like they caught him and they're like, oh well,
We can either like arrest you and like put you in jail, or you could come work for us. And so
That sounds like a movie.
yeah, no,
right?
seriously, like it's insane. And he
I'm
ended
like
up
watching it in my head right now.
yeah.
yeah, and he ended
This guy who doesn't even have like a middle school education in terms of like American like mentality. Like school was more like just K through 12 and like one school.
Are you
It
for
wasn't-
hire to tell stories of your grandfather?
We definitely want to do a lot of stuff about him over the years. Like
I think the book is where it's at.
we
Yeah,
were
yeah.
we were
I would
thinking-
buy that like
Yeah.
We were thinking
handed it prints.
even a comic book or something like
Oh,
that.
that
Something
would
would be really cool.
You should
Right.
do a comic book about the
Yeah.
distillery because you guys are superheroes.
Oh my god.
Yeah. We
It's like
so
your grandfather's traveling through you. And
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know if you guys have seen Dead Rabbit or know what Dead
No, but
Rabbit
that's is it a movie?
So Dead Rabbit is one of the best bars in the world. Like they constantly make the top list. They're like an Irish
Okay.
pub in
in New York City, and they're so unpretentious. They're literally like they're Irish pub. Like you walk
Yeah.
in, there's like straw on the ground, you know,
Oh,
that kind of
love
place.
that.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and it's like
and their first floor is like straight up a pub. Second floor is like a high-end cocktail bar.
yeah.
Oh wow.
and
That's
it's
cool.
like and they're famous for their Irish coffee. Like I'm telling you that
Love
Irish
Irish
coffee
coffee.
is like better than anything I've ever had. Like
Yeah.
it is
So
unbelievable.
anyway, they have like this cool name behind them, Dead Rabbit or whatever, and like this cool logo of like a cool like cool rabbit guy. And so they decided to make a whole comic book. And they're they're famous for their cocktails too. So they did a comic book like
So one side of the like
bar
the
recipe
book,
guide.
yeah. So one side is the comic book, the other side are drink recipes.
So
So
it's like you're reading through it, but
Oh, I
also
love
on
that.
every side
That's
is like
fucking
that.
so much
So
fun.
we were kind of gonna take inspiration from that and see if we can do, and see if we can do something like that with our grandfather. And you know, as people are loving our drink recipes and like want to do stuff like that,
Yeah.
like it.
We're slowly accumulating like a shit
So
ton of
much fun.
recipes.
what was his name?
Oleg.
Oleg, yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah, that works.
Yeah. yeah. So
I'm really interested because Maria was saying you guys make mocktails, and I want to try all that stuff, but I don't want to drink alcohol. But I'll
yeah.
sit there. I'll try every single thing you want to make
yeah.
all day
Love
long.
you guys always come around with the samples. and
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so yeah, we make our place like really a lot about customer service too. Like we're still at that stage in our business too. We're so new. So all of us, like the five of us, the founders, we're all pretty much there like every day. Like and so it's really really nice because when you get like your business grows, you get very far removed from it.
Or if you start a business with a ton of money and then you're just the one sitting in the back doing the money things, and you have your like.
Basically the financer of a corporation, like a mini,
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like at our current,
and because everything is bootstrapped too,
Yeah.
like we're
like
very
everyone meets us, everyone gets to talk to us, everyone asks us questions about our grandfather, all that stuff. So like people feel really like connected to the business, which I love, and I hope that won't change anytime soon.
And I love that you keep to your roots. Like at Christmas time, you have that fun event
Yeah, yeah.
going on. Like the witch and all that.
Wait, what?
Didn't you have like photo ops with people?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
You had a
Well,
Christmas witch?
Well,
Was Krampus there?
well,
No, but I knew you'd love it.
well, okay, so a really interesting thing with the Soviet Union, they were very much anti-religion because
Okay.
you know the whole
Religion
premise-
is the enemy of science, right?
So according to the Soviet Union, and that's so the very like first like 20 plus years, they essentially just banned all organized religion, and so because the people still needed like things to celebrate,
And because people kept getting arrested putting up like Christmas tree type
Okay.
of things, they were like, let's kind of roll this into like a holiday that's a non-secular holiday, where they turned it. They were like, okay, so it's not going to be New Year's and it's not going to be Christmas anymore. We're going to celebrate the New Year.
so
You know.
but essentially stole everything from Christmas. So there's still a New Year's tree.
Okay.
So the Christmas tree is still the same. There's a Russian version of Santa Claus called Ded Moroz that delivers gifts to the boys and girls of the Soviet Union.
So
And he has like because like he's like a weird old man, right? To make things a little bit more so children
Friendly.
aren't scared of some old man like approaching them. They like have like a young, beautiful girl named like Snegurочка who's
It's like the female version of Snowman. I don't know, like Snow Woman is like
Okay.
how it translates to, but
Okay,
she's like
okay.
she's like the Snow Witch type of thing, yeah.
it's
Grr.
so
And
cool.
and
I loved it.
and and she goes around with him. Yeah.
So they like this is like this whole like theatrical version of like Christmas, and but on New Year's now, and so during we had a holiday bazaar where actually the same people that do the Asbury Park Bazaar, they were the ones that like organized it,
yeah.
and so we had all of these like small businesses essentially set up like little tables, sell their wares. And we had I think like 600, 700 people come through in like one day. Like it was
Great.
insane.
That's
It was great for us to. I mean beyond like I love the support that we gave to like all those people. Like I would 100% do that again because it got a lot of new people through the door.
Yeah.
And we had like for once we had a way for people to kind of walk through the back to like through production.
Okay.
Because the whole rest of the place got
So
like taken
full,
up
yeah.
by the they got taken up by the vendors and all the people. We had like the back as like a way to escape, and people would walk through, and we would
cool.
give free samples to people that way, and do bottle sales, and we sold so many bottles because so many new people came through and they tried our stuff, and they're like, wow, like all this is so unique. And that's really what we concentrate on at the distillery.
It's
Like
something we haven't just talked about. So it's not just the pea vodka. We do.
That sounds funny.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
sounds
yeah,
that we're clipping that and making that a button.
yeah.
It's not just the pea vodka.
I was like, oh my god, you have like everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we have a hopped agave distillate, which
So
would be
our
like,
version of tequila. So
Yeah.
try it versus your 1800. I think you'll be
yeah.
you won't be disappointed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was
okay.
that we do like a quote unquote Soviet rum, because apparently during that time period they had Cuban rum, like back when it was like Havana Club was made in Cuba, and so they tried to replicate it themselves because it was popular, but they're like importing and all that. It was
They're like,
this-
let's see if the Soviet Union could make a rum-like product.
Yeah.
But they didn't care about rules or like they were like yeah, that should work type of mentality.
Yes. So they didn't have molasses, so they faked it with sugarcane and prune juice.
Ooh.
So that's what our you've probably had the east side, the color changing one.
That's my favorite.
Yes.
drink
So
there.
that's
Color
made that's
changing
I
drink.
love it. It's purple. It's really
Yeah.
close, like pink and purple.
Yeah. So it's made with our Soviet rum, which legally we can't call rum, and it's really funny. We got into like a fight, like a little tiff with the government about that.
Just call it myrrh.
Ooh, a fight
Well,
with the government.
Yeah.
Well,
I like
well,
this.
so because it's not 100% made from sugarcane, legally it can't be called rum, and we were okay with that. We were like, okay, it's gonna have its own name, and then it says
Like in the
specialty spirit.
description.
Like
It's
bum or something.
Yeah.
Well, we actually called
That's a shit name.
we
You know what I'm saying.
we called it Havana, but spelled in Russian, which looks like Zabaha. So we called it that because of the reference to the Cuban and everything.
Yeah.
And it's
And everyone we explained it to was like,
oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And then then it says like specialty spirit made from prunes and sugarcane or whatever.
Okay.
But what I got into a fight with the government about was because, as I said right now, like historically,
This
the
is something that was made
in the Soviet
in
Union.
the Soviet Union and they called it themselves rum, right? They called it, come get your rum.
At that point,
right?
it's a brand, like a
Right.
type.
Yeah, so we on the side, like on the little description panel, we were like, this is our take on a Soviet recipe, like on their attempt of making rum. Like I just wrote as an attempt of making rum, like, which exactly is what it is.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, you can't have rum anywhere on the bottle because that's confusing to people.
What?
Yeah.
I drank it on Christmas. I actually bought a bottle.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember you came in.
Well, so we ended up having to write based on Soviet recipes for Caribbean-style spirits on the bottle. That's what they let us put.
Okay.
How confusing is that?
Yeah.
That's so confusing. But that's a whole other matter, just like,
Can
like.
you call it like rum or like
No,
something
no.
like that,
So
or you
so
can't?
we always, it's like that and our agave distillate that is like
Ooh.
tequila. We're always like tequila, like rum, like yeah. So
Yeah.
so it's like
I mean, so our whole thing, and everyone that goes to our place really appreciates this, is we don't make normal things. Like almost every distillery that you go to is gonna have a vodka, a whiskey. If they're
rum, a
fancy,
gin, yeah.
if they're fancy, maybe a rye. Like they'll they essentially go through like the motions, and it's because that's what sells, right? That's because they're starting this distillery at that 50 and 60 year mark, right? And usually
them,
with
they're
no
trying to make
experience,
their money back like right away. Like
and usually with no experience of them actually distilling ever in their lives, or maybe they made like one run somewhere and someone was like, oh, it's pretty good. Like we came from years and years of experimentation and like a love of this to a point where, we knew that we were going to do this,
Yeah.
And
like I've made like really really weird shit like prior to even opening the distillery, stuff that I want to remake, but like now I have to kind of figure out how to do. Like for example, do you know like sunchokes or Jerusalem artichokes? It's like
So
it's
they're
like a
closely
root
related.
vegetable.
They're a root vegetable that's closely related to sunflowers.
So the flavor itself is like really kind of
Kind of
like
nutty.
and earthy. And so I made that like back when we were like just on the small home distilling stage, and that was like such a cool spirit. I love to do that. Now I have to figure out the logistics of getting. I probably would
That
need
much of
like
it.
like 600 pounds of it.
Oh,
So it's like
what
a whole.
They have
It's
like
at a whole
the
nother
biggest
scale.
Strawberry, Ryan. Didn't they have the biggest strawberry in our last episode?
Russia?
Jerusalem? No.
No, who had the biggest strawberry?
Remember that news story?
Hey Google.
Never
No,
mind.
no,
Don't-
no,
it's
never
okay,
mind.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we were doing like crazy news stories, and one of them was on like the biggest,
largest.
the largest strawberry, and
Is it in New
this
Jersey?
guy knew he had to go through like the Guinness Book of World Records, and it's like sat in his freezer for like a year
Wow.
or more. Yeah, and it was giant. It was like 8 times like the size of a strawberry.
It's like
Don't
I'm
quote me
picturing-
on that,
Yeah.
but
I'm
probably
picturing,
bigger.
like something like this.
Yeah, it was
Like
it
the
was-
size
it
of
was-
a pineapple.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
A pine strawberry.
Those actually exist.
Yeah, have you ever had that?
What?
They're called pine berries.
Yeah, well, first
Someone
of all,
someone
they're-
I
crossbred.
had
Yeah.
like the albino strawberry.
So
No,
they
this-
look like that.
They look like it,
the
and
but they're called
fuck?
pine berries. Yeah.
and they kind of taste
Life
like a
isn't
mix
real.
of pineapple and strawberry.
I had a grapple at Dearborn, which was like.
What universe am I
apple,
in?
But it tasted like a grape when you bit into it. It was.
I feel like somebody's just in my head, and they're just like all the ridiculous things that I think of. They're just a thing already.
We're in we're in the GMO universe right here.
The-
I heard that there was grapes that tasted like cotton candy, and
Yes, I had them. They
Shut up.
Where?
Samaha's,
Where?
What?
Right where I live at Samaha's across the street, the farm, they have cotton candy grapes. They're super, super sweet. They only come out once a year at the end of August.
Can you please get me like 50 pounds of them, please?
ShopRite has them now. It's not even that weird
No, they
anymore.
don't.
Listen,
Swear
everything
to
since
God,
I came
they
back
have
from
it.
South
We're going as
Carolina,
soon as we're
everything
done
is
here.
different. Like Dunkin' Donuts started serving hummus toast.
What?
You,
Like
you,
avocado
yeah.
you hopped
toast, it's so
universes.
good.
I swear to you,
Yeah.
I'm
everything is so
blown away
like
right now.
backwards
Do
right
you
now.
guys make a gin type thing?
So,
So we-
actually, we
speak-
have
Speaking
I'm
of
a gin
which-
person, and
Yeah.
I'm
we have a
like-
gin coming out at the end of this month, and I'm really excited about it because
It's gonna be the
like
weirdest.
everything,
It's
we're not
like
making
gin?
we're not making a normal.
No, this
gin.
one is 100% a
It's
gin.
still legally a gin.
but it's gonna be
Nice.
the weirdest gin that you're
Like,
gonna ever
what
try.
makes it
Shots.
weird? Is it still gonna taste like a pine tree?
No.
No.
It's gonna have a hint of pine tree,
Okay.
but it's also gonna have garlic, chives, mushroom.
What?
Oh,
It's gonna be a
savory.
savory
I've
It's
had
so cool.
mushroom
I'm into
tea
that.
Before, and
Yeah.
I really like mushroom tea. It's very
Uh-huh.
earthy. Is it
Yeah.
gonna be like that?
Yeah.
It's
It
earthy,
Yeah.
is.
like-
It
We're trying to work with Drew on this potentially.
When's the release?
from
Oh, what? That's my hands down favorite restaurant.
Yeah.
Like, anywhere, I don't care. Drew's Bistro.
Yeah.
It's done.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
he loves like we love him. He
He's
loves
he
so
us.
loves us.
good.
He like comes in and he's like fanboys about us
He beat
and like
Bobby Flay.
Yeah,
I
At
know.
the waterfront.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Keyport, like, fucking crazy.
I'm fanboying. Right
Shout
now.
out to Drew.
No,
Yeah.
it's a like a Cajun style restaurant. You would fucking love
It's
it. We're going.
and it's like reasonable prices for
Yes.
so much
and it's
food.
Bring your own. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
yeah. So like you see the prices and you're just like, oh, this is a little expensive. But then like the portion size comes out for like how nice of a restaurant it is. It's like massive. You
Huge.
leave there just like you roll out
And
of
they
that.
have like the pork of the day. Like, what?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And so
Come on out to the Distillery. We can do a visit to
Oh, hell
Yeah.
Drew's.
yeah.
I'm down.
yeah.
I want to come hang out in your place so bad.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm drinking every mocktail you have.
Yeah. Well,
Chris is
we'll
gonna
do
do
the
his
We'll just start making them
side
up for you
quest.
too. Like just
Mocktail
keep
reviews.
you there, yeah.
Please, please, please.
Can you have your own mocktail channel of you just going to different different venues and
I would do that.
that's cool.
1,000%.
Mocktails, yeah.
Chris's
Mocktails with Chris.
Yeah.
I'm
You
into
just
it.
dress all
I would
fancy and
that.
like have a mocktail.
Oh yeah, you have to wear like.
Yo,
a-
I'm filming this.
I could dress like that dude from Hunger Games.
I never watched that.
There's a lot of dudes
Yeah.
in Hungry
The
Games.
main
Yeah, I was-
Yeah,
the main
wieners.
announcer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I just pictured you in like a tuxedo t-shirt.
Yeah, just dress like
but,
Lucifer,
like,
bro.
with a jacket over
You ever
it.
watch that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just you'd like it. It's all black, red, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sure. I'll check it out.
I'm your producer.
Okay. We're
So
totally
so
going
sorry.
in.
So
We're a team.
so
Yeah.
to
I hit
get
you do.
all the way back to the question again about peas.
Oh,
We
sorry,
just
sorry.
keep getting so distracted.
I
No,
know.
because it is actually really cool. We so this the second prohibition, Gorbachev starts rationing vodka, and everyone starts home distilling. You know, making their their sugar shine, which is super easy. That's what they were doing a lot here as well. Take sugar, ferment that,
It's the easiest way.
and distill it. It's the
Yeah.
easiest way to make alcohol. It really is very harsh usually, and not like the most pleasant thing to drink. But it'll
When-
get
when
you
you're-
drunk. It'll do the job, right?
That's the
Yeah.
thing,
And mask it and other things. I
Yeah,
guess.
exactly.
Exactly. So the government realized pretty soon after putting a prohibition that everyone's just as drunk because everyone's moonshining, and so they start rationing sugar. Right? They start rationing whatever is easy to make alcohol
Oh,
out
my
of.
God.
And our grandfather, who's like I mentioned, is a genius, who like even like in his spare time, like this guy was kooky. Like he would have like his friends drop him off in random places in Russia.
Like because Russia is like the biggest expanse of like
course.
woods and every like the natural like part of it, and he would like kayak and like try to make his way back.
So he was the first reality show.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
basically.
He'd be like, just drop me in the woods and I'll try to find.
and
my way
I'll
back."
figure out my way back, and he would be
That's
mapping it while
badass.
he's going.
Yeah.
Like he would map it out because he didn't trust Russian maps. He would like remap everything.
Fucking coolest.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, because I forgot somewhere along the line. How do you know all this?
About our grandfather?
Our mom and our grandmother, like, so our grandfather actually, like, really tragically, like, he passed when we were on our way back to actually meet him. So we were born in Moscow, but we left when we were 6 months old. So,
So we lived here. We left with our mom and our grandmother. He stayed behind because he had a cushy government job. He was one of the head elevator engineers for the entire Soviet Union at that point. You know, like he did all the missile silos, space program elevators, like all these different things. He was like one of the most top secret people. And he found anyway, he stayed behind, and we were on our way to visit him after hearing all about him for like the first 6-7 years of our lives. We were on our way to visit him, and while we were flying over, he actually passed away. So we never truly got to meet him.
It was like literally not meant to be, but like everyone.
Like we landed, and our mom had to
like
deal with
like,
all the funeral arrangements.
And everything, yeah.
So like,
Wow.
But like
sorry.
it's well, that's the thing. Like I feel sorry like for like because he's such a like an immense like character. Like every person he's ever interacted with, like our mom would tell us like he would go anywhere and he would leave with like 30 new best friends because everyone wanted to spend time with him. Everyone loved him.
Yeah.
And so like additionally he would always I don't know where I was going with that.
I mean, no, like, so
Sorry. I'm like I feel like I'm getting a little contact high at this point.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, dude, all good, dude. All good.
No, but he was the reason why he even started distilling out of peas is because he knew there was like a complex starch in that, and peas. I mean, honestly, peas I would say are the future of distilling / brewing in a lot of different ways. And I think going forward, like quote me on this, in 10 years, there's going to be a ton more people doing it. Peas are carbon negative because they add nitrogen back into the soil, so they're rotation crops. Like
so you need to grow things like soy or pea in between other crops in order to keep without having to add
like especially for
So rather
organic
than
crops.
wasting, you can produce another product, and which
So he realized the Russian climate is perfect for peas, and they were a big thing that were grown during the Soviet Union. So he realized, you know what's never gonna disappear, what can never be rationed? Peas, right? And he loved entertaining all of his best friends. He loved entertaining everyone that came by, and he wanted to keep having people come by. So he was like, everyone buy up all the, split peas that you can get on store shelves. Bring it here. Let's make vodka. And then at some point, he had like KGB agents coming to his house to drink vodka, So like,
that's such
Wow.
a movie. I want to watch that movie for real.
right,
Yeah.
and that's like
well, in the future you could read that book.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm reading that.
like we have so much like to honor him, and so like besides just like the Soviet Union is like the 80s Soviet theme of our place is really just a shell. Like the main purpose of everything is to honor him and like what he was doing. Like we have like literally if you walk around, we have like cabinets with like little pictures of him. He's on like one of our bottles. Like there's like
It's the product that we're like most proud of too. Like the one that it's called the Gorovka one. The one that's like tastes very much like peas, because we made two different product out of peas. We made a vodka, which is pretty neutral in its base.
The vodka is a side product. So immediately from the beginning. So being like the distiller, I knew, and just talking to everyone, like vodka is something that moves. People recognize vodka. They know vodka and they'll buy it. No one's going to be buying like an aged pea spirit, right off the bat without education. Like you need to like slowly build that out. You need to like have people
create the brand, have people become brand ambassadors of like this really weird product.
Yeah.
So
like the main product we were trying to make was this Gorovka, this thing that was the closest thing to what he was making, because I can tell you from the distilling perspective, making vodka is difficult. There's a reason why most distilleries do not make their own vodka.
They usually
if-
bring their own.
Yeah,
They bring other people's vodka in
Yes.
and then slap their label on
So
it.
I mean, we're not gonna like call out certain brands, but like I can tell you most places in New Jersey do not make vodka. It's also much cheaper to not make your own vodka. I can tell you that. Like it's
Because
like
there's a big plant in Indiana that's like
pushing out like millions of gallons of
a day. Like they have that capability, and because of that,
everything is going to like other companies that are like, you know what, I'm passionate about whiskey. I'm not passionate about vodka. So most places like that's the real reason. It's like most people are like, if I can spend nothing and get like a vodka on my shelves and put my own
fund
label on it.
and fund ourselves through our whiskey production until we get there. Like that's what most people do.
Yeah, so I don't blame them. It makes sense. But like as a Soviet distillery, we were like, there's no way that we're ever gonna do that. We need to make
we're
everything
gonna make
from
our own
scratch.
vodka.
And so I was like, I'm gonna take the same recipe that I do for the Gorovka, and then turn it into a vodka, because vodka can be made from anything. The only rule of thumb, and the thing that makes vodka difficult, is that it needs to be distilled to 95% ABV. And that is the cutoff. So once it's distilled to 95%, it's considered neutral, because with 5% left over, most of which is water, it's not going to taste like anything. And so that's the starting place, and then they cut it down to 40%, which is like the typical vodka. So by adding all that water additionally, you end up with a pretty neutral spirit.
Usually.
Did you ever make anything like super high octane? You ever try?
Well, I mean, everything comes off the still like that. So I try everything, and then I decide, what percentage I want to keep
balance it.
everything.
Do we need to put this down further down?
Yeah.
Like the one with our grandfather's picture on it, it goes in a barrel at 60%, and it stays in a barrel until we pull it out, and then we dilute it to 55%. So it's pretty strong, you know. But we leave it at that ABV on purpose, because we think that a lot of
flavor, yeah. And so it drinks, like, now that we've had like all this time to really perfect like the way that it works, it's also coming out of the barrel, and every single time it comes out of the barrel, we're doing like a really unique thing. So instead of having just like a singular like a bunch of like 100 barrels, and we're pulling like, all right, we bottle this entire barrel, we bottle this entire barrel, we have a massive barrel that's like essentially 3 times the size of a barrel, and we're pulling a certain amount of that barrel out and topping it off with new spirit. So technically the age statement will never go up, but the average age of everything in that barrel
is gonna keep going up.
Keep going up. And so this way,
Because in 20 years, like even if we were pulling half the barrel every single time we did it, in 20 years there would still be some stuff in there that's 20 years old, right? We're not pulling half. We're pulling like 10% of the barrel at a time.
So like there legitimately is like such a massive difference from the first 2 times we pulled it, and it was only 3 months different.
Yeah.
Like it, and we get to actually observe that as we go. 20 years from now, the flavors coming out of it, I'm like really excited. And at that point we'll probably need to add a couple more, to keep up with demand, hopefully at that point. But but it's like a really, really like cool, unique process that is like now starting to come up places. But we figured that this is like the perfect use case scenario for this product that we're only now building the audience for.
Right.
That's genius.
Yeah. And so that was always the main goal. The vodka, we were just like, people are gonna buy
It's a
vodka.
happy accident.
And so we
Sorry, guys.
we realized, you're yawning a lot, man.
So much.
Yeah.
It's usually
Smack
I
you.
mean,
We didn't
Jesus.
hear, that's
See,
why.
you
Oh, yeah.
guys are so
Okay.
busy.
I get like that too. I get a little sleepy after they smoke.
Oh, yeah. Well, so typically with vodka it is fairly neutral, and we were like, you know what, this will sell pretty well. We realized that by making the vodka out of the same material that we were making Gorovka out of, we're saving a ton of money on buying mass quantities of peas, which is just massive. Like for this is why like economies of scales exist. Like this is why a company, I don't know, like let's say Smirnoff or something like that, they're probably paying like even like tenth of what we're paying because they're buying that much of whatever the
Yeah.
bottles, everything, and everything has its own, diminishing value. So we were like, if we're only making this Gorovka product like once a year, because the demand isn't there, we're gonna be spending up the ass for all the ingredients for it. We'd rather turn it into a vodka as well, because vodkas are typically neutral, and people will buy it because it's the only vodka.
And also-
they come in and they're looking for vodka.
And they are. They're like, you're a
It's like-
vodka distillery, right?
Yeah.
And we're like,
but you have everything. I bought your coffee.
yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
The
around
coffee,
Christmas time.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're super excited about that one, and it's like potentially presenting like some
Yeah.
some
I
cool
don't know.
new things. We're not going to talk about it,
Well,
but
we can. We can
okay.
probably mention it.
Yeah.
Do you guys know the Wu-Tang Clan?
Do we?
They ain't nothing to fuck with.
So Ghostface Killa of the Wu-Tang Clan has a brand of coffee
Just put out a coffee.
called Killa
dope.
Coffee.
No
Dope.
way.
And he is interested in doing a coffee liqueur through us.
One of my friends
That's
in
amazing.
this
Awesome.
band,
Yeah.
the
Congratulations.
Mutt Breakers,
I mean, we're not sure. We're not sure if anything is happening yet. They asked for 20 bottles to like just
To
kind of
experiment
test
the market with.
But they've tried the product that we've made for them with this coffee, and they're like, this is amazing.
please do a Wu-Tang night.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they had actually offered that like if this all goes through, they would do
like a concert.
a concert at our place,
Amazing.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
right?
So my friend who's in a band called the Mutt Breakers, he just did a bunch of artwork for him,
Really?
like portraits of him.
Cool.
And
Oh, that's
stuff.
really cool.
Yeah, he's out of Long Island, and that's
Feeling
really
limber.
cool that he's like in touch with the community and like.
Yeah.
doing really cool
Well,
with this.
do you know like Gourmet Italian Delights?
Yeah.
So Chad, his brother or cousin?
His brother.
His brother is apparently the manager for Ghostface Killer. And so like Chad
Chad came by, bought a few bottles, was like, "This is amazing," and it was like went on a huge
Raving about it.
rant on like,
social media about it.
and obviously his brother reached out, was like, we're putting out this coffee, right? Like,
This would be
Like-
cool.
and we're like, oh,
Yeah,
It's
you
just like
guys
these
are
little,
awesome.
These little like things.
Ryan's face right now.
I'm super stoked.
Yeah.
You're just like swimming in the information.
Yeah, and it's
Right now.
nothing that's like. Sometimes people talk, and I'll be honest, it's just like I'm a real
You just,
person.
Like, zone out.
Yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, there's a piece of weed on the carpet or something,
Yeah.
and I haven't stopped listening to you guys at all.
Watching their mouth.
Thank you.
I'm literally fucking. It's like a movie in my head. This is awesome.
Thank you.
no, thank you.
Yeah, I mean we're like really happy like to be invited like on like you guys need like really like we got connected through Maria, like this is awesome.
I
Like,
had to have you guys on. I live in Aberdeen.
Maria's
I've been
awesome.
to Beach for a while, but like as soon as
Fucking
you
tried
opened
that
up,
out myself.
Like Keyport needed a spot
Oh,
like
shit.
this. Like
All
I was
right.
just so stoked that you moved in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely 1,000% very soon gonna be coming and hanging out
Sounds good.
Yeah, same
Yeah.
here.
for sure.
Ooh,
You guys are rad. I
Hell
honestly,
yeah.
my brain is in a puddle right now.
I can see it. Your head's on fire right now.
Yeah,
I came not well rested, but like
I thought you were
showered
gonna
for
leave it at, I came.
once. I didn't do that yet today. Yeah, no. Usually I'm like a germ, and I just like dust on in here. Today I like got ready and like did my thing and went to Lacey and came back. I feel good. I got a massage.
yeah, we heard
it's not a real
When you did
massage.
that, I'm so
You've
mad at you.
come from somebody who's never had a massage.
I'm going on Wednesday.
You can't speak on
It's
that
just
to
topic.
the
For
same
me-
person.
No.
For
No.
me, going into the mall and getting a massage behind a little paper thing is
It's
just
not
weird.
behind a paper thing.
No, it's not like that.
It's not
just
like
weird.
that.
They sit out front and they're like, "Oh, massage."
Today I had this dude, I forget his name. Yeah, edit that out, Chelsea.
No. No, I don't think I will.
This dude was like pretty small in size, right? So he had his little foot.
So it didn't really hurt that
footstool.
much, right? You were
No,
kinda used to it.
so
just
he
kinda-
had his elbow like on
Oh,
like
he went
you just
elbow
went-
deep.
in there, and then he had this roller, and I've never like been massaged by somebody with like props.
Roller?
It was like this. It was like a little wheel, like
Gotcha.
hard as
I
shit.
don't think I've ever had that done.
And-
Bringing toys into the...
Yeah, it was in the toy play. I was totally all about it. And then at the end, like, you know how like you get an adjustment after, and they, you know, sometimes it's a little struggle, but like he just went like this. He was like, cracked my whole neck.
Nice.
Easy. But before that, I almost violently shit my pants.
You what?
And on that note, thank you so much, Max and Alex. We appreciate you.
Yeah,
You
thanks
guys
for
are
coming.
amazing. Seriously, and I will be down, and I'm gonna try all the drinks you got. Seriously.
Awesome. No,
Guys.
no, thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you guys for having us.
Yeah, for sure. And
We're gonna have to
everything
start
that they-
listening to more of your stuff,
Oh
because
my god.
Thank you.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
no,
appreciate it.
this isn't very enjoyable,
And
and
everything
I
we
can only
talked about-
imagine.
Everything we talked about will be in the link in the description.
Okay.
So everybody, you know.
Yeah,
make
guys,
sure we
donate.
we
Go
get
check
it,
them
yeah.
out. Sundays, you guys do like the walkthroughs.
Sundays
Yes.
we do tours.
Yeah,
Tours.
Thursday night is the music.
Yeah, the Russian balalaika.
And then Friday,
I wanna see
Saturday,
And they
Friday
got
and
pea
Sun-
vodka.
P vodka, yeah,
Yeah, check out. They're the only ones in the world with pea vodka.
exactly.
Holy shit! Yeah. I'm gonna try a little.
Yeah. Awesome, guys.
So, guys, thank you so much. Follow us. You know, subscribe, all that stuff. Bye.
Connect with the Two Clouded Mind Show. Follow them on Instagram and TikTok at @the__clouded_minds_show, at @2clouded on Twitter, and the Two Clouded Mind Show on Facebook. Get the Two Clouded Mind Show podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and of course, subscribe to their YouTube channel and hit that notification bell.